Hello everybody and welcome back to my little tutorials on our stupid rockets and everything. And recently I've been getting a couple requests to do a space station tutorial on the process of building it, process of getting the parts up to the station to put it all together, and really overall how to do the rendezvous and stuff like that. So this might be a lengthy video, but all in all it's going to come out pretty good, and hopefully we can get some sort of a two, maybe three section station put together by the end of the video, with some time being of the essence and all that kind of stuff. So, for our stations, what I normally do is I design pretty much the whole thing here on the ground without any rockets or stuff on it. And of course, for the core of your station, you pretty much want to use this or the Mark II command pod. This is because it looks nice, it's nice and big, and be able to hold whatever you need. Now, the main part doesn't really need RCS to move around because everything else is coming to it. This is just going to be set up in a circular orbit. The more circular, the better, and all that. So, I am going to put some RCS on it just so we can get it into a circular orbit. And the more RCS, the better, because that's more we can give off to other ships if they dock before they want to go somewhere. Use it kind of like a refueling kind of station. You're also going to want batteries, because we're going to be doing a lot of our power management from this main core here. So we put the battery on there. I'm also going to throw on a ASAS module just so it's easier for us to control this. Alright, and then this doesn't really look like a station, you're probably saying. I mean, it's just these parts. It looks no different than a lander. Well, that's where the station itself comes in. And if you want it to look nice, you can throw things like this band adapter and flip it upside down on there. That way it narrows down for the rest of the station. We're also going to need solar panels, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the big ones on there. I mean, it is a space station, it's not a lander, so it's not going to be landing or anything like that, or going through a lot of G-forces, so we can go ahead and throw the big boys on there. And then we can add some more details like lights. Always remember your lights. Everybody always forgets the lights. Please, for the love of your own pain and all that, throw lights on there. I put 4 of these pointing down like that, and then on either side of them I'll do like that. If it will center up, as you can see it's wiggling because it wants to be stupid, and that should do a pretty good job of illuminating anything below it. And then just for aesthetics, we're also going to point these ones up. So I rotate them and point them up so they can illuminate the top half. And that should be pretty good for lighting up the main section of this craft. And then for the docking ports, I always like to use that right there. That will definitely give us room for a docking node here and make it so there's no chance of us running into anything. So this right here is where we're going to build our station off of. That gives us 4 or 5. That gives us 5 spots where we can dock on other parts. So this is our core. And once I put the docking ports on there, I'm going to do the RCS. That way it's all balanced and everything. Docking ports are over in utility. For nodes like this, I just go ahead and use the normal docking port. I don't really worry about the shielded one. The shielded one is more like for space planes and stuff like that when you're worrying about drag, even though it has the same amount of drag, oddly. But it looks better on those types of things. And this right here, I'm just flipping things around to make it so they actually fit on there with the WASD keys. Alright, plop that on there. I'm going to hit Alt on this one. And there we go. Those are all of our docking ports, so we can add more stuff to this. We got RCS, we got stored power, we have reaction control, so this thing points in the exact direction we want. And just for a little aesthetic thing, we can put a shielded one on top there for the escape vehicle, which we might add today, but more than likely we'll add it later on. Now for support, this top section here, I guess you could call that egg-shaped thing. That egg-shaped section is very well supported and everything, but as soon as we come down to this thing, for launching up into space, it's not very supported. I mean, this is part one. This is the core of the station, and that's what we'll be launching first. So we want to just make sure that it's going to be supported and everything. So get 4 struts. I like to put I don't know, about halfway up that thing, and then attach it to the side of the node, not the docking port, the node. So go like that, and they'll add more than enough structural strength for the whole thing. And there we go. Alright, now I like to look at other things we might need, like fuel reserves. If you look at this thing, it has no fuel reserves. So our second craft could very well be a fuel reserve. So I take a docking node, plug it on the side there, and for a fuel reserve, it's relatively simple process. Depending on how much fuel we want this station to be able to hold, I think a nice big orange tank will be plenty for us. So we go like that, and the orange tank is going to come off the side here. If I can click it, there we go. Alright, bam. It's going to be like that, and now we can check for space and stuff like that, make sure we're not intersecting with the solar panels, that sort of thing. It looks pretty good. Then we're probably going to want some more power production, which will go off the bottom. And remember, this thing here is just a space holder, so we can work out sizes and stuff like that, make sure our design will actually work once we go up into space. We're not actually launching it like this. It'd be nearly impossible. So we go like that. Excuse me. And really, this is just a power unit, so we're going to throw on remote guidance. I mean, we don't have to use the full-size one for the power. I mean, we can throw that guy on there. And then for power, really, you just want to do that and that. And then just load it up with, well, let's throw a small battery on there to add to our overall power that we can store. We throw that on there, and you pretty much just layer it with as many of these as possible. Keep in mind that orange tank, and we'll have to dock that orange tank on there in the future. So we go like that. That's the wrong button. I'll just grab it from here. Screw it. Alright, and bam. That's 4 more panels to power whatever we might need. And then we're going to need some Kerbal storage for whoever comes in for docking, that sort of thing. Like a space plane, we'll probably dock. We'll make a space plane one, since the space plane is like to dock in weird spots. I mean, everything has to be weird with them. But that's pretty much just going to be a hitchhiker's storage. Of course, I'll have all the RCS and everything it needed, but it's just going to be like that. I would, of course, make those lined up, whatever. And that's pretty much a station. I will probably be adding a longer node here, just for docking larger things that can't get in that close, because the tanks and panels are in the way. So you go like that, and once again we grab these out, the girders. That's what they're called, girders. Alright, and then we put a node on the end of that, and that'll give us, okay, that will give us space to dock on larger craft, and of course we put docking nodes on it. So that's pretty much our design. Of course it's going to be tweaked and stuff once we get up there, but for now we'll take off that, we'll take off that, we'll take off this and that. Alright, so we have an idea of what the station's going to look like at the end of the day, and I accidentally ripped off a docking port there. Not a problem. Just go like that. Alright. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do I attach something to here and still have a rocket down below and everything, and still have a docking port without that being a separator? Well, you just use a docking port. They actually clip on, and that's considered docked right there. So when you want to release whatever's below it, you just right-click it and click undock. Now, for maneuvering this thing up there, of course, we're just going to use this with a beefier engine than the nuclear. I mean, we don't have to get fancy or anything, but we definitely want that. But before I add that on there, I forgot to add my RCS ports, which I need my center of mass. And you want to center your RCS port so it doesn't wobble around while you're trying to do everything. So let me find a good way to do this. Alright, looks like it's centered between the SAS and the battery. So I'm gonna put it on the SAS and below the RCS storage. I mean, you just gotta eyeball it really. And then, of course, we're gonna put some down here. And then more up here at the top. Trying to keep our spacing and everything all the same. And there we go. That looks like it's pretty good balanced RCS. So we can turn that off. Now we can actually build the rocket that's gonna get it up there. So that's just for maneuver stuff like that. Get it in a circularized orbit. I'm gonna add some more fuel because I don't feel like that's quite enough fuel. I mean, this thing does weigh a pretty good amount up here. So go like that. Set that up. Then put that on there. And I'm going to use the band adapter just so it's easier to make it structurally sound and everything. Alright. Okay, that all looks good there. Now I'm going to be using asparagus staging and big orange tanks and stuff like that for this. Mostly because this is going to take a lot of fuel to get up into space. Center core here. Oh, wrong one. Bam. The mainsail on it. It's a mainsail. Thank you. Now we switch to 2, like always, for the asparagus staging. And we'll give ourselves a nice reference point and call it, the center one goes right through that gray line there. Alright. And then we put the tank on there. It doesn't want to go on there for whatever reason. There it goes. Alright, that looks about good. We're going to put our anti-overheat tank on. Boom. Mainsail. Okay. And then, just so everything's symmetrical, I'm going to do all the hard points and everything on this tank. Then we're just going to hold Alt and click the decoupler to select the rest. So, put that there. Grab the tank from there. Bring it up to there. Okay. And then, how do I want to do this? Actually, that should be enough to support it all. So we'll go ahead and Alt click. That way we don't have to worry about lining up all the rest of the things like the engine and the tank and the hard point. And bam. Perfectly symmetrical. Or as close to as we can get it with our puny little eyes. Ever notice that eyes on people are relatively small compared to other animals? I mean, we have beady little things just sticking in our skull. Alright, so now we can switch to ×4 for setting up the hard points in here. So boom, boom, boom. And here I'm just going to go a little quicker, less explanation. You guys can figure out the rest. Or you guys can figure it out from here. I mean, it's no big mystery. I'm just throwing struts on there so it's all connected and happy and won't fall apart and stuff like that. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. And of course, I kind of want to go like this and bring that up to there. And then use a hard point, right, like that, to connect from here to there as well. Kind of going overboard on the struts, but it's all for a good reason. I mean, I've had the most structurally sound rockets just fall apart for no reason. Alright, so that one doesn't go through the docking node there, so let's see if we can connect from here and go up to there. No, that didn't connect at all. So we might need another hard point on it, but I'm going to try higher. No. Let's try to go the other way. I think those RCS ports are in the way. So if we go all the way up to the lights, we might be able to get past them. There we go. Boom. Everything is structurally built. Looks good. Nice and sturdy. We have SAS up there. but just for added torque and stuff like that, I'm going to add another SAS one right there, just so we have some centered torque. Because if you look at center of mass, it's way down there, and torquing from up here won't really work well for us. So it looks good on that. No, let's connect this tank to that hard point there. We don't want that to be lost. Alright, now we do the asparagus staging. You guys should know how to do this from previous videos. It's going to be from this tank to that tank, and then from this crap. We'll just put that there, then hit Control Z. Okay, cool. Alright, then from this tank to that tank. Alright, now that all looks good. Now we gotta make it so all of our rockets fire, but we want to ditch this one first. So that guy right here, the bottom one, which is always convenient. Boom. Okay, that ditches, and then we decouple there. And that should be more than enough thrust and fuel and everything to definitely get us up there. Do I want to add maybe another fuel stage? We'll call it an emergency fuel stage. And I'll put it... then I'd have to add more struts and everything. I think we'll be fine with this. If not, I'll just cheat. But you guys understand the design process and stuff like that. And we're only going up to 100-kilometer orbit. With rockets like this and everything, we can typically go all the way to the moon. Especially with a light load like this. It's not particularly light, but it's definitely lighter than a lot of things I made. So we'll call this Station Core. Alright. Bam. Save it. And who do we have as pilots? We have Jebediah. And this is only a one-seater, believe it or not. That's why we're going to have to add the hitchhiker storage and stuff like that. So we got Jebediah setting up our core for us, which should be pretty good. I mean, Jebediah's never let me down before, except for when he crashed into Kerbin, and then he crashed into the Mun, and he does a lot of crashing, I'm not going to lie. But that's usually after the mission's complete and he's trying to land somewhere, which is all his fault. Uh-oh, you guys get to smack me. I forgot the docking clamps. Uh-oh. Surprisingly, it's not blowing up on the pad, though, which is crazy. Uh-oh, we got wobbles. Look for where the wobble joint is, and it looks like it's right here. Yep, I don't have any struts going from here up, so we're just going to go ahead and real quickly come back out here. It's very, it consumes a lot of fuel when you're wobbling like that, because these have to gimbal and steer and all that kind of stuff. So you come up here. Our wobble point was between these two because we don't have struts passing by them. So, how do I want to do this? It looks like I'm going to have to do it like this. Because since that goes in so quickly, that I can't connect here and go straight down to there. So, we connect to our tank and come out to those, bam, like that. And then we take these. So, bam, we take those. I think my mouse is breaking because sometimes I can't click. There we go. And just realize that this tank is not supported to that tank. Trial and error. It's pretty much the only way to do anything in this game. We're going to go like that, and now we're connected to those hard points. So now we should be good. I'm just going to add one more on the side tanks here that go up to that. Just as added support. Nothing crazy. And there we go. Now we are, for a fact, perfectly set for a launch. I mean, if you looked at how it was wobbling, it was only wobbling at that one joint. It wasn't trying to fall apart anywhere else, so we should be decently good at this. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be perfectly okay. Unless you guys see something, in which case leave a comment and I'll read it in the future and fix it right now for us. Okay, I just went to the future and back, and it looks like we should be good except for those docking clamps. You guys forgot to tell me about that. Again. You guys suck. Alright, little wobble, but nothing like we had before. This is a controlled wobble. Definitely I can definitely control this one. I'm not worried about this at all. Cough, cough, cough. I'm going to, in fact, throttle down a little bit. Alright. Remember, we want to stay below 200 meters a second while we're this low in the atmosphere. And with the wobbling, I am using quite a bit more fuel than I normally would be at this point. But ditch those, throttle up. And see, these three engines are just enough to keep us accelerating. But like I said, I want to stay below 200 meters a second until 10,000. Then we can just let it rip, roar, and go. Because at that point, we will probably never hit terminal velocity. We will never smack that windshield. Look at Jeb, he's so happy. He probably just ate a cupcake. That bastard, he was supposed to give them to me. Alright, here we go, making our turn. I'm trying to control the wobble as best as I can. Alright, and for some reason we're actually getting some overheat here. I think that means we're going faster than we normally would be. Pull this up just so I can watch it. Okay, now our goal is a 100 kilometer orbit. Yeah, orbit, that's the word. Woo. Uh-oh. What happened? That's why. Okay. Whew. I thought something serious happened there for a second. I lost a lot of my steering control, but that's because we are only we're down to one engine now, so the gimbling doesn't really steer us as much as it should. But alright, back out to here. Now I'm adding way more lateral than anything because that's what the next engine is going to have the most work ahead of it for itself. So I'm trying to get rid of as much lateral velocity needed as possible in this stage just to help out the next stage. And I got plenty of fuel for it too, so. Alright, looks like we are at 100. And I'll be adjusting for fine-tuning and stuff like that. But see, now I'm pointing below the horizon to try and keep the apoapsis down. And I'm just burning as fast as I can to help out the next stage. And now we, of course, have extra fuel, because by now I should have drifted up there, then burned. But since we have the excess fuel and everything, I don't see a problem with doing it this way. Alright, now we're starting to get way too high up in the air, so we're going to cut engine, warp up here. Okay, and now we're going to resume flight. Let's see if this stage will even finish it for us. Looks like it might. It's burning through the fuel really quick though, so I don't know. Alright, and get that to as close to 100 as possible there on that side. Now we're going to have to shrink this side. We all know how to do that. We come over here. Can't go faster than 50 times being this low. That's okay. We're not trying to go up that high or anything, so. There we go. And this, as you saw, kind of drifted over to retrograde for us, so we won't even have to steer on this side. I do want to steer a little bit, though, because it looks like we went a little bit overboard. But I'm going to slow us down right about now. I'm just using very, very low throttle, just so it gets 101. Okay, so that's now 98, so we gotta increase that. And I am tempted to just ditch this tank altogether, because to be honest, it's adding mass and it's getting really hard to control this thing. But I should be okay. Oh, wrong one. I want to go all the way over to this guy to boost him out. We're just doing this to circularize our orbit, nothing fancy. And as you can see, we have more than enough fuel to do whatever maneuvers we may want to do. We could even decide to go up above that 120 point so we can warp faster for rendezvous. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to boost us up over that 120 point so we have excess fuel and whatnot. Or not excess fuel, so we can actually do better orbital maneuvers. So I'm gonna come down to here, Okay. 120. We'll make a 130 station. Won't get above 120. I just gave it to you. Jeez. This game likes to pick on me. Alright. And here we go. I'm going to stop quite a bit early here because I have to take my rocket and point all the way over. So, pointing, pointing, pointing. And here's a trick to lock it at that 90. Or close to it. Like this. Oh, I don't even have to do the trick. ASAS is actually doing it for me. Alright. Now we throttle up. And bam, 129, 132. Technically, that is a 130 orbit. So there we go. We come here. Now I have debris and everything turned off, so I can actually destage these things. Like that. And those will disappear for me. Now you're saying, well, we still have this engine and everything. Well, yeah, we do, and we'll probably keep it there for a little bit. I mean, that's fuel we can add to the giant fuel tank we throw up here. But, turn off that. I mean, we have plenty of monopropellant. I'm not worried about it, but we're going to point exactly north now for future docking. Which is really nice and helpful for ships when you are pointed perfectly north. And there we go. Okay. Now this episode has taken a little bit longer than I thought it would, so I will be cutting this one here. Well, we have this, right? Actually, you know what? I will not cut this here. I will give you guys a nice bonus long video that's going to take me forever to upload. So we're going to come here to the Space Center, and we'll dock the, what do we want to dock? I think we will dock the, let's go with the easy one, and add the, whatchamacallit, the thing that comes out the extra docking node for future ships. So, we keep everything the same. Whoa. We want to keep this section. That's the section we want. All this, don't need it. Don't need it. Because for this, we're just going to use a remote guidance unit. And this is way more fuel than we'll need. But, more the better. And as you know, this was just going to be, we need RCS, so I'm going to build this real quick with as little explanation as possible for you guys. Because I did make this video longer than I planned on it. So I'm just kind of rush through it. Do those two, then these. Doop, doop, then a docking node, which is heavy. And then bam. And the docking ports. Boom. Hold Alt. Oops. Boom. Hold Alt. Boom. Hold Alt. Boom. And one more. Boom. Alright, that looks pretty good. We want some lights on there. Nothing crazy. If I can remember where the lights are, they're right here. Alright, bring it up a little bit. And there. That way you can see the docking ports more easily. I forgot to add in a battery. So over here, utility, battery, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Needs a docking port at the top there. So we can dock to the station. Go figure. Why is it being herpy-derpy? Why? Why? Oh, goody. Goody good. We don't have a center mark, so I have to eyeball this as best as I can. Friggin' thing. That looks pretty good to me. Doesn't have to be perfect. Unless, of course, you're OCD like I am sometimes, but for the most part, it doesn't have to be stupid perfect. Alright, so we had... Our center mass is a little bit low on this one, so we're gonna do that there. And that one there. And that should give us balanced RCS for translation movements and everything. We got that. We got the maneuvering. Throw this on. Oh. Take that off. Put that on. Shazam. Now this is a lot of rocket just for this little tiny thing up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first stage of our asparagus and just rip it off. Don't need it. Too much fuel. We'll just end up burning more fuel for no reason. Okay. Oh, and I forgot one thing. I want to be able to look and see where I'm going, so I'm going to put these guys faced up. If I remember what button for up is. Put them like that. And I do want some static power so this thing can stay charged at night. So I'm going to put RTGs on it, and I'll see if I can't make it fancy looking. There we go. That looks fancy. Now, let's see here. Yep, that's going to be a problem. What I'm going to do... crap. How do I want to do this? This is going to be difficult. Like that, and I think I should be able to attach these onto it. Yes. If it wants to listen to me. Not the game code. There we go. There, that way we can ditch that when the time comes to ditch that. I can attach this all the way up to there. And from here. Yeah, now we can ditch that when we do our docking, or we can keep it even. I don't see a reason to keep it. It just gets in the way of docking larger craft, which is what this whole section is for. It's for docking larger craft. So, large craft docking node. Alright, save it. Staging should still be good. Boom, boom, boom. Why are those two going off up here? Those two shouldn't go off until I say they come off. Having a little bit of a derp session right now with, there we go. Alright, everything looks good, and here we go. Now, here we go with, this is probably the easiest way to get as close as possible to our station core. It really is probably the easiest way, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to do it this way, I like to do more maneuvers than it is timing, but for the sake of this, we're gonna time it. It looks like we're right there on time. What you want to do is, you're here, and you want that there. Not that difficult, not that fancy. So if you're looking away from the planet like this, you want it about that far. You want it just below the horizon from you. And that way when you do your burn and turn and everything like that, you catch up nicely. And what is up with those? Whatever. And yes, I know, I forgot the thingamajigs again. Whatever. So we go up, 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 up. I have really no idea what's going on with those. But they won't be an issue. I hope. Alright, we're going up and up and up. Trying to do this as quickly as possible before my hard drive absolutely hates me. Now quick will either be good or bad The bad would be I crash and burn and bad things happen. Good would be I go up, connect, we're done, and I end the video. And then next time I'll show you how to attach fueling tanks and stuff like that for future missions. And you know what? Screw terminal velocity. We're just gonna throw it up there. I have more than enough fuel for it, so why not? Alright, and ditch those. Hey, now I can actually rotate. It's not doing dumb things. And now we do our turn. Try to keep it as nice and gentle as possible. Check our resources for electric charge. Alright. Now, as we get closer, we should get an encounter marker and everything. We want that encounter marker as close as we possibly can get it. I don't know why we're just burning straight up. We're gonna need some lateral here. I mean, burning... actually, you know what? Yeah, that's actually a good idea. If we can get this more vertical than horizontal, we'd be able to work out our encounter a lot better. So we're coming out, trying to stay at 90, but it looks like we're up above. Yeah, we're going to be up above. But we can fix that later, if need be. Now, we were 130 out, so that's about as high as we want the apoapsis. Alright, and there's our encounter. Now we will look at it. What's this? That's where the target's going to be, that's where we're going to be. So we're going to have to go up above 130. That way, see this purple one? It's getting nice and close for us. Alright, and bam. I overshot. We're going to be down there while it's up here. But that's okay, because I can adjust pretty much right now without an issue. I'm not really going to adjust too much. You can see it's going to catch up to us because now we're going slower. And right about here, I want to somehow turn, and make our target velocity 0 by burning right here. The closer I can get that to 0, the better off we are. Wow, we are really off for some reason. We're way above them. But that's okay, we're just going to burn towards target here in a second. And there we go. Still have some of that I need to kill anyway, so I'll do it like this. Now you'll see that we're fixing our orbit so we line up more. Oh, here we go. What do we got here? Is that getting smaller? It's shaking a lot. Okay. That is getting smaller, which is what we want. And we are out of fuel for this stage. That is perfectly okay, because we have a whole nother stage. I killed that. Alright. Throttle up just a little bit. Just get away from it, then kill. Alright, now I want to watch this more than I want to watch that. So, come here, separation. Now there's going to be a point where we no longer get closer, but the intersect gets closer to us. Like, the distance won't get any shorter, but these markers will just get closer to where we are, which isn't exactly what we want. So we got that pretty close. I'm going to use RCS here just to line up this. Alright, and done. Okay, turn off RCS, and then time warp to that point as best as we can. Boom. And then make our relative velocity 0 again. And we are at 1 meter a second away from them. 0.4. This is where we really want to get this as close as possible, because now we're making our final major approach. Then it's going to be RCS fuel and just slide in there. This video is getting really long. Two 2.108765 then we're sliding. Okay, and we are getting closer to them at a very high rate of speed, so let's do this. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible, just for my hard drive, really. I mean, I'm already up to 51 gigs. I might have to cut this video here very shortly. Alright. Alright, now I don't want to run into them, so I'm going to do it like this. I don't even see my friggin' target. There's debris down there. Okay. Ah, there's my target. Okay. Alright, now we need to head towards them more. And from here, I'm just going to lose the engines. Completely just lose these guys. I do not need them. There we go. RCS on. And let's get in there nice and quick. I'm going to turn on lights, because I forgot to turn them on the space station, but since we have our own lights, that shouldn't be a problem. Just going to slide in there. As best as we can. As you can see, I'm lining up the purple, the yellow, and then my reticle like this, which will get us as close as we possibly can get. Oops. Alright, now I want to speed up a little bit more here, which can get dangerous, but I'm alright with that. This thing has plenty of RCS, and it's plenty light enough where I can just put on the brakes and stop pretty quick. And if you notice, we have that engine in the way on the bottom here, so temporarily we're just going to dock this on any one of the nodes. Now I'm slowing. Oop. I was watching the nav ball instead of... Yeah, you guys understand. And you can see the front lights on this thing are just making that station glow. Alright, I set the actual docking node that I want as my target. Okay. Alright. Lined up pretty good so far. But as you can see, we're pointing down at it, so we definitely want to drop. Now we want to stop dropping. Set that. Rotate. Come up. Now this is really kind of hectic sometimes, but looks like we should be okay. And there we go. Now we should just guide right in there. I know we're not pointed perfectly at it, but the magnetism should take the rest for us. There we go. It's going to bounce around a little bit. I'm going to turn that off so it lets it do its thing. And bam. We are docked. Next episode, I'll show you how to get rid of this engine, get that onto that port, and then we'll look into adding fuel reserves and all that. Until then, I hope you guys have a fun time building your brand new space stations and all that stuff. And actually, before I go, I'm going to extend my panel so I don't run out of power on the station and turn on all the lights. Shabam! That is a station. For all intents and purposes, that is a space station. But we're going to add more stuff to it in the future. Until then, you guys have a great one.